Hey guys, it's Tim coming at you with a brand new episode of The Spotlight, the show where I pose an interesting question or just a general interesting idea and then have you guys take from there in the comments. And for the first time, I'm going to give a spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't seen Doctor Strange yet and wants to avoid anything that's in the movie. So, if you haven't gotten a chance to see the movie yet and you want to avoid spoilers, stop the video now and come back once you've seen it. But for everyone else, let's talk about giant cosmic level threats in comic book movies. It's no secret that previous cosmic level threats have been pretty lackluster when brought from comic book page to screen. The two notable examples of this being Galactus from Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer and Parallax from the Green Lantern movie in 2011. Both of which being cosmic clouds that barely, if at all, resembled their comic book counterparts. Now, us as comic book readers know the threat that Galactus and Parallax hold in their respective universes, but why does Hollywood go the angle of trying to change the shape and form that the Destroyer takes? Well, largely it seems to stem from the fact that they're afraid that common audiences won't be able to take these particular designs seriously and they still want to have some kind of tangible threat. When it comes down to it, what are Galactus and Parallax? Galactus is a giant guy in purple with a tiki head helmet. And Parallax is a big, glowing yellow space bug that's major threat comes from the context it holds within the Green Lantern mythos. There's always going to be things that work in comic books and animation, both with the type of audiences they have and with the lack of limitations in both of those mediums compared to live action, that just won't work in film. For example, comic books have a lot of dynamic posing that if you do them in live action, you look kinda dumb. And for animation, you have things like Dragon Ball Z level fighting of punching very quickly and teleporting around that just won't transition well into live action because you have less control over the visuals than you would have when you're drawing it out. These big cosmic threats work for us because we have context of who they are and what they do, and with comic books, you only have to catch a moment in time, so a character can look as cool as they possibly can in that one single moment, and you don't have to worry about how they look in motion. Now, am I saying that what we've gotten so far has been the best way to handle this? Well, no, clouds aren't threatening either. But my point is that it's not as simple as just take what's established and what we know and putting it on the screen, cause that may not necessarily work. There's a chance it might if they take a gamble on it, but I'm not going to guarantee success just by going the original route. Now, in the new Doctor Strange movie, we got Dormammu, and I think that he's handled decently. Now, it helps that Dormammu's original design gives him a face that really doesn't have that heavy of features on it. He has eyes with no pupils on them, a mouth and no nose and no hair, so it's really not that hard to capture what Dormammu looks like. And the creators still went their own direction on him by giving him a constantly shifting face and making the sort of cloudish fire around him green and other colors instead of just orange and yellow like it is in the comics. It's still not a perfect representation of Dormammu. I mean, we only see his head like with previous entities that we've had before, but unlike other ones, there's still a chance that we could see the rest of his body later. He was just presented as being very large, and that was all we could see in that shot. And hopefully, with this film's success, especially with people praising its visuals, we'll be able to see more entities being able to take shape closer to their comic book counterparts, and moving more towards a middle ground that everyone can be happy with. But what do you guys think? Do you think that when brought to the screen, these characters should have their comic book designs and those will be able to work with audiences? Do you think that these kinds of characters just won't work at all on film, or do you think that there's a middle ground that we just haven't found yet but you feel we'll be able to find in the future? Well, as always, let us know down in the comments. If you like what you've seen here and you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this has been Tim from the Hybrid Network, signing out.